cautionary tale to everybody. You can't trust no one. So ABBA was dating this chick for about 5 months. He got her pregnant, and she came online recently to do a tell-all about ABBA and this experience of dating ABBA and getting pregnant. She would say she's making a video to expose the emotionally harmful experiences she had with ABBA during his pregnancy.
I'm going to be talking about a pregnancy in which ABBA ultimately walked away from. And I'm going to be talking about the difficulties and the emotionally harmful interactions I've had with ABBA.
This is not the stereotypical situation. A lot of you guys heard the first sentence and say, of course, all right? A brother got an Asian or a white girl pregnant. She looks like a mixture of both. Got a white girl or Asian girl pregnant and walked away from the baby. What's new? But this ain't the stereotypical situation. And that first line was actually very misleading because ABBA apparently wanted to keep the kid. ABBA begged her not to terminate the pregnancy initially. Now, she took ABBA through this whirlwind of, no, I'm keeping the baby, no, I'm not keeping the baby.
Always told you the outcome I would have preferred. But I told you I would support you regardless, and I'd be there for you. And I think I try to show up both emotionally and physically by being there in person. I think I went out of my way to try to make that clear to you. And I also didn't lie to you. I didn't tell you, I'm going to be fine, everything's going to be great. I told you, like, it's going to be tough on us. It's going to be tough on you, it's going to be tough on me. I don't know how I'm going to change afterwards. I can only tell you that I'm dreading it. And I think that's a reasonable and, like, mature response to the whole situation. I don't need anyone to coddle me or anything like that. Like, I know these things are going to be difficult. And who knows, maybe it does break us. Who knows? But I would never force you into parenthood before you're ready. And I always told you that. So what I'm saying there is because she didn't want to have the kid, and I was saying I did.
This is one of the most bizarre situations I've ever seen in my life. So
absolutely, bro. Well, I wouldn't say ever, but it is rare that you see the dad prefer to keep the child and the mom actually, is the one trying to abort it. It's more likely you see the other way around, the dad forcing the mom to try to abort the child. So definitely one of the rare cases, but none I never seen before.
So the dude with the money and the fame who got a girl pregnant within 5 months is begging her to keep the baby. Begging her to not go through with it. She scheduled about 4 to 5 abortion appointments. Now he says 9, she says 4 to 5. He's telling her each and every time, please don't get it. Please, bro. We could do this. Please don't get it. She says, nah, I want it. But every time she cancels the appointment last minute. She even tells him, hey, I don't want you to show up to the abortion appointment with me because you might convince me not to get it. So she says, don't show up. He still shows up anyway to be there. I have never seen a rich and famous man get a girl pregnant within 5 months, knowing that child support and other things are at play here. And he tells her keep it, and then she's playing games, right? She's playing games. So she goes and says that after, pretty much taking ABBA through a roller coaster of emotions, I'm going to keep it, I'm not keeping it, I'm going to keep it, I'm not keeping it, I'm going to keep it, I'm not keeping it, I'm going to keep it, I'm not keeping it. ABBA finally snapped and said, all right, bro, I don't care what you do you, leave me alone.
I want to acknowledge something up front, and that is, I know exactly who I'm speaking about. I know exactly who ABBA is. ABBA is articulate. He is persuasive, and he is calculated. ABBA is the king of receipts. And anyone who really knows ABBA would not willingly put themselves in the position I'm putting myself in right now, unless their experience was significant enough to speak on. I'm not here to cause spectacle. This is all informational, and I'll just leave it up for interpretation. I met ABBA July of 2025, last year, and it was really fun, and it was really interesting, and it was honestly full of love. 4 months into the relationship, I start to see incompatibilities and inconsistencies that made me question the relationship and started to make me feel doubt. Ironically, as I started to feel those doubts, I found out I was pregnant. I was very nervous, but I knew I wanted to keep the child. I told Abba about the pregnancy, and he was actually very supportive. He was very excited. He always talked about children and sure about Abba. Like I had mentioned, I started to see some core fundamental differences with our values, our lifestyle, and especially how Abba handled things emotionally and how he handled things communicatively.
Did you know there's a news that she wanted to terminate the baby is because the relationship with Abba was rocky, it was not stable. I think Abba said he broke up with her once, but then she starts to contradict herself, and then she says, in another breath, well, terminating it was never an option for her. Then why was she setting abortion appointments? And she admitted that she was setting those appointments. If she knew all along she would have never gotten rid of it, or she didn't want to terminate it, then why were you setting appointments for what? Like, like to play with this man's emotions, or to set him like up and down a roller coaster? Or does she mean like, yo, I was setting these appointments because I was confused and I wanted to.
My whole thing, I'm not quite sure what she was doing. What I can say is if he is this black rich figure that Bro Flacco is claiming him to be, I wouldn't put it past the point where I feel like maybe they were dating and like Abba or whatever her name is said the first couple months was fun, loving and all that, like it should be, and it just got to a point where burnout occurred and the real person started to show. Like everybody is going to show the part that they want to be seen at first in a relationship. As once you start really talking to people for a extended period of time where you start to see like inconsistencies in the personality, whatever the case may have been. But like I don't know why she would have thought it would have been a good idea to play with a nigga as far as having a baby. Like, why are you threatening a nigga with a baby, bro? Honestly, if you want to kill that joint, I feel like bro was going to be. He wasn't going to give a fuck either way. He was at the point where I'm going to either take care of my child or you going to do what you going to do, gang. And once a nigga like that with it, bitch, ain't no really, you can't leverage a baby to try to make him want to love you more if that was what your plan was. Because it wasn't going to work, bro.
To get rid of it because the relationship was rocky, but deep down inside, I knew I didn't want to.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but all in all, though, she took this man through an emotional roller coaster. Now, she would say that eventually, when she was at a point where after 4 to 9 abortion appointments and canceling each and every one of them, once Abba got sick and tired of it, that's when she made up her mind she wanted to keep it. But by that time, Abba wanted nothing to do with her due to what Abba would say is the stress, she took him through.
I start to confuse my anxiousness with being with Abba or moving forward with Abba with my confusion and anxiousness with the pregnancy and if I wanted to continue the pregnancy or not. And terminating the pregnancy was never in the question. It was something I never wanted to do. And I talked to Abba and I said, maybe an abortion is something we should do, even if that isn't what I wanted at all. And Abba was not happy with it. Abba was quite disappointed, and he tried to support the decision as much as he could, but you can tell that he was struggling with it a little bit. We make our first appointment for the abortion, and Abba visits me to be there for me, and we don't go through with it that day. And when he leaves, I make another appointment, and I cancel that one. And I think in total, I canceled 3 abortion appointments. And I think, maybe I should give it more time and see if my feelings change. And so I set an appointment for after the trip I had planned to Montreal to visit Abba. I visit Abba in Montreal, and we get into our biggest fight. And this was a real turning point for me. And I know it's hard to imagine Abba upset, but he does get there. And not only does he get there, he goes past the point of the threshold of where anger should stop. Abba resorts to name-calling and degrading language and resorts to ridicule and mocking, and it does teeter on the emotionally and verbal abusive side, and I hate to put a label on it like that, but
I feel like this is something that's not our business. We should not know about this. This is not something we should be involved in whatsoever. But she felt like she needed to come to the timeline to relay this. Now, she would then begin to say that once she made up her mind, after the multiple abortion appointments, after this huge fight with Abba, because Abba got sick and tired of her scheduling these things, put him through this emotional low just to cancel it and make him have to go through it all over again. Eventually, until he says, okay, I'm done with this. She then will say that after that big fight, Abba now no longer wanted to have a kid with her and told her to get the abortion. He's done.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And that's when.
Hey, sometimes first is worse, man. And sometimes is first is worse, man. You could have kept this to yourself instead of trying to paint narratives and make people side with you or him, whatever the case may have been. Or maybe you was just coming to the public because you felt like you had nobody to reach out to due to his high stature, whatever the case may have been. You know how the story goes, but gang, no one's dealing with that, bro. That even if a nigga could get pregnant, bro, a nigga is not about to be you. A female is not dealing with that, gang. Fuck, like if a nigga could get pregnant, he keep on playing with the abortion game, and the bitches say she's the dad in this instance. She's the nigga that she got him pregnant type shit. Say the roles was reversed, bro. If the cuz is playing around with getting an abortion about the kid, bro, I'm pretty sure the girl's gonna be like, hey then, like, hey bro, if you ain't trying to have a buck, then just I mean, so be it. I'm just gonna leave this shit alone, bro. Do what you gotta do, and we'll be done, bro. But y'all be trying to act like, nah, bro. And that's just the thing with females and niggas, though. Like, y'all more feelings oriented, and we gotta accept that, understand that situation at hand, and not put ourselves in situations where this shit can happen, bro. Because if cuz knew how she was like this from the rip, I'm not getting no year pregnant like this, gang. I'm seeing how she's already acting. She been showing these signs to cuz. He just, I don't know what bro was doing. Hey, man.
She all of a sudden didn't want to get it once she felt like, it's kind of weird. If it almost feels like when getting the abortion would have made Abba unhappy and depressed, she wanted to get it, right? But when not getting the abortion would have made Abra sad and depressed, she didn't want to get it. I'm not a woman. Maybe this is what women go through, but it almost felt like she took pleasure in doing the opposite of whatever Abba wanted, right? If Abba would have been happy with her not getting it, she wanted to get it. It just felt like she wanted to take him through hell. Eventually, after pushing him to his edge, he then, begins to get, like snarky with her, rude with her, and
snarky.
Where she felt like she got him, right where she got him, she then screenshot the messages, and the mean stuff that he sent her. And, she believes that he should be canceled because he sent her mean messages and told her to go through with the abortion that she initially wanted to get.
And he tells me, I don't have anything to say, just get the abortion, and I'll wait for the abortion updates. And I said, I will consider keeping you, I will keep you updated. I will consider what you said over the phone about having the abortion. My values were to ultimately not get it. And he said, just so we're clear, if you change your mind for the 10th time, I will not be involved. And then I kind of snap back a little bit and I'm like, then don't be. And then he blocks me. And he blocks me for an entire day. And I'm so sorry for the construction in the background. I have to make sure to speak loud. Sorry about that. I said, hey, I need to talk to you about the baby. I'm still blocked. And I tell my cousin to message him to unblock me. And he says, hey, I unblocked you for a second to say stop contacting me. Regardless of what you choose, I will never decide to keep in contact with you. You're not my responsibility. Now don't reach out to me again. And then if you guys are reading this, I'll talk to I'll mention what's going on here in a minute, but I said, why did you block me after you wanted updates? He says, because I don't want updates. Sorry I wasn't clear, so I'll be clear. I don't want to ever hear from you again.
Video.
Hey, I ain't watching the full thing. You understand the gist, bro. She played around with getting an abortion with a baby, and the nigga finally just put his foot down and said, bitch, whatever you do with the buck, that's on your hands. I'm out. You ain't gonna keep the 10th time is absurd work. If you played around with having a baby on me 10 times, I'll fucking around and get the cops involved. Hey.